I wanted to say to people who are struggling and they want to do something and they want to help their community or they want to help anything. If you let your heart guide you, you'll be there. If you jump, the net will appear.
You're listening to The Aerial Hour, episode number 8. The Aerial Hour is a weekly podcast where I interview aerial entrepreneurs and professionals within our industry. Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of The Aerial Hour. It's official. We hit the road. We're currently in Tallahassee, Florida, living inside Marge, and we are finally moving along a bit more smoothly. We had plans to go further north, but unfortunately, there's a major cold front coming through, making that near impossible for us at this point. Next year, hopefully, we'll be able to get Marge ready for winter. But at this point, since we're so new, we're just going to play around in Florida and along the lower state coastlines and make the best of it. So I apologize that there wasn't an episode last week. These last couple of weeks have just been really, really stressful for me, getting actually on the road and then dealing with the first couple of things breaking and having to fix them and learning how to do all the things required to live this life. But I am so, so excited because it's giving me an opportunity to meet more amazing people like you guys. And I've already gotten to take classes and interview some really special people, and I can't wait to share them all with you. In this week's episode, I interview photographer Candra Cain, who is the queen of lighting. Like, seriously, the queen of lighting. Like, let's just take a moment, pull out our phones, hop on Instagram, and pull up her Instagram page. That's Candra_shoots_pole. Let's just scroll through and look at these incredible lines that she creates with her lighting. It's insane. We talk about how she started her business, making her clients feel safe and beautiful, which go hand in hand to me, and marketing her business. I think I cried more in this episode than any other episode thus far. Candra's just one of those people that make you feel good. And she was one of the very first people that I asked to be on the show and immediately said yes. I really hope you guys enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did recording it. If you want to know more, you know what to do. Head on over to theaerialhour.com and check out the show notes for this episode. And please write us a review on Apple Podcast. It makes me so happy, and it gives me the extra push to really sit down and get all this work done to produce this episode. So if you do it, I'd be forever grateful. I think I've taken up more than enough time before the interview, and that's what you guys really are here for. So let's go ahead and roll the tape. See you guys later. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Aerial Hour. And today I am joined by Candra Cain, who is an amazing photographer, and I am so happy to be here today with you.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm happy to be here too.
Good. So we are sitting in your amazing space. I wish I could use enough descriptive words to explain where we are right now, but I'll just try to paint a quick picture. You're sitting on a beautiful leather purple couch and surrounded by beautiful draping and picture frames and gorgeousness. This is amazing.
Thank you. I always describe it as walking into a fairy's vagina.
Yeah.
Because it's just glitter and pink. And then we also have our room where it's all dark and sexy. So we definitely try to go for a vibe for everyone.
Yeah, you can feel it. How long have you been in this space for?
I've been in this space for a year now.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So we're just going to get right into it. You are a photographer.
Yes.
And how long have you been shooting for?
I have been taking photos my whole entire life. I actually started taking photos after my mom passed when I was 12.
Okay.
And I found a way to kind of connect with the world when I didn't feel like I could. And I've been a professional photographer for 10 years.
Okay. So you got into photography after your mother passed away, and that was your way of connection. How long before you decided to make this your full-time career?
I made this my full-time career when, I'm trying to think, 2014. I decided to do this full-time. I had done it part-time and was killing myself doing it. And finally, I was like, jump in the net will appear. And it was a rough year, but we made it, and it's only getting better every year.
Yeah. What were you doing before this?
I was the store manager of Rent-A-Center.
Okay.
Which is the most far away from me job you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And I hated it. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it gave me a lot of manager skills, and it also really taught me to hustle.
Yeah.
So there's a good in everything.
That's awesome. I also come from manager background and doing something totally different than I was doing before.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
To even think about.
Yeah. It's night and day from what I used to do.
Threw away all the pantsuits.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Right.
In fire.
I know. I think I still have my scrubs in my closet, and my husband will ask me, he's like, why are you keeping those? I don't know.
To remind me of the person I used to be.
Exactly. And that I will never be again.
Never. I still have like my blazers. I just need them to be there.
Right.
To remember I used to be a grown-up, and now I'm not.
You mentioned that during the first year it was rough. What was rough about the first year of building your business?
So my wife and I had just gotten engaged and decided to get married that year. So that was a great idea to do the same year I quit my job. I was just miserable. And my wife was like, just do it. We'll figure it out. And we were on food stamps. We were really struggling. My wife supported me all the way. And really, that's what actually led me to shoot aerial, is because I was like, I want something. My dream client is an empowered, just powerhouse of a woman. And then I started thinking of where that person would go. And I was like, oh my God, they would be pole dancers. And that's kind of actually what led me, is to help me build my boudoir studio. I started shooting aerial to help. And then it turned into another part of my business.
I love that. That's so cool. So when you decided shooting aerial, how did you get into that? How did you start?
I spammed the hell out of every studio that I could find. And one studio was nice enough to give me a shot. And once I started, I immediately fell in love with it. It was supposed to be something that was supposed to just get me more boudoir clients. And it turned into a whole different side of me and my art that I love. And I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah. So when you reached out to studios, was that just like a cold email, or how did that sound?
I was annoying.
Annoying.
I'm one of those people where if I want something, it'll happen. So every 6 months I would send out an email. 3 weeks after that email, I'd call. Then 6 months later, I'd email again, and I would just keep doing it until someone gave me a chance. And I had to do it for a long time. And then now studios are calling me, studios I've never even heard of. And it's just such an insane thing that's happening. And I'm just so lucky.
How long after you started emailing people were you starting to get responses? Do you remember?
It took me probably about 3 or 4 months to find someone.
Okay.
And then once they let me in and I really started to get to know the girls, I mean, I have the first photo shoot I ever did are their clients who come to me. Like, I saw 3 of them at PoleCon.
Oh.
And they've all become friends, which is one of the best things about my career is these girls are so amazing that we end up becoming, like, we have a closer relationship than just a client and a photographer. Yeah,
I imagine, especially in this industry, you kind of have to make that connection because you have to make people feel beautiful. And I think establishing that is making somebody feel comfortable. So it's very interesting.
That's always been like just my nature is I'm always the cheerleader, and it's just part of who I am. I'm always, and you'll ask Gemma Lux, my amazing makeup artist, her favorite part, she always says, is listening to me shoot. Because I'm always like, hell yeah!
Yeah.
Your ass looks amazing! Work it! And it's the best. I think it's always just been who I am.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, please go tell someone else to be.
It's funny, but it's so true. I've been lucky enough to shoot with you, and I felt so beautiful. In fact, still, I mean, this was, like 5 years ago, I think. To this day, on my husband's desk is the picture that you took of me.
That means so much.
Yeah. And immediately when I told him that I was interviewing you, he's like, she took that picture
That's my favorite, hearing stories like that. It means so much.
I really loved the way I felt. That was my first pole photo shoot. ever. And I was terrified. I had planned a lot. In fact, it's really funny. As I'm going through my house and getting ready to go on this adventure, we're like going through stuff, and I found the list of moves that I wanted to do during said photo shoot, and moves that no one should even try to document are the things that I was doing. But you made me feel so comfortable and beautiful, and I couldn't believe when I got the images that that was me. And I think it says a lot about the environment that you create, because I don't think I'm like such an awkward person. Feeling beautiful and feeling sexy is not something that's comfortable for me. But you have this way about you that you make people feel comfortable. In fact, going through your Facebook business page, I was like looking through the reviews, and I think every single one either mentioned that you made them feel beautiful or they had never felt so beautiful.
That is the best compliment anybody can ever give me, and I love it. And it's really funny because I hear it a lot. Like, I've never felt sexy before, and it makes me laugh because my clients are like some of the most stunning women in the whole world, and I think it's just something I naturally do. It's just my everything. I love making women feel gorgeous, and it's something that I've wanted to do my whole life. I mean, my first art project in photography was a book I made about women. And
wow.
It starts way back.
When was this?
I was 17.
Wow.
So 2006, maybe 2005. And I made a book about different women and what they did for a living and what made them strong. And I was like, holy crap, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And that's...
Now you're doing that. Yeah, you have a literal wall of women.
I do.
If you're lucky enough to come shoot in here, you have to like see this wall of glorious women and men and dogs.
So many dogs.
So many dogs, but mainly the women and men.
Yes.
That are flooding the wall of all things that you've created.
That wall is actually like my favorite part of my studio.
I can see why.
Well, I get to look back and I get to reflect on all the... It's crazy because I can tell you the name of every single client I've ever had. Because it's more than just me shooting you. We are building a connection. And I know that you're letting me into this part of your life that's very scary for you and very secretive and not something you show everyone. So I get to learn a lot about people that they might not have told anybody else. Yeah. And so... on the wall, every single one of those women and men are someone who's actually meant something to me. And I just am so grateful for my clients. Yeah. They make me so happy.
That's so awesome. So talking about your space, when did you decide to open your own space? At what point were you like, okay, I can do this?
I traveled a lot. My whole studio used to be in my car, and I'd go to people's homes carrying a 60-pound bag up 3 flights of stairs. Got real old real fast. Yeah. And then we had a studio in my home, and then I had a studio out of a friend's pole dance studio. And I loved it, and having my own space was amazing. And I realized that to hit the next step of making my clients feel loved and comfortable, and also the next step for me was to open my own studio. And when I stopped being chicken, I decided to go ahead and do it, and it's the best decision I ever made. It's my second home.
Yeah, I can totally see that. How did you go about finding the right place?
It was actually crazy. After PoleCon last year, I just knew it was something I had to do. Me and Gemma Lux were hiding out from people at PoleCon. I love you, PoleCon. It was very overwhelming. Yeah. So Gemma Lux and I were sitting in a hotel room eating room service ice cream, and we were talking about our dreams and what we wanted, and I realized that this was a step that I needed to make, no matter how scary it was. And a week later, this space fell in my lap. This is only the second place I ever looked at.
Oh, wow.
And the minute I walked up to it, I was like, this is the vibe that I want. This is exactly what I want. Yeah. It felt like home instantly.
Were there any things that you were like, this is a must-have for me being a photographer in a place?
I'm one of those people who can make cardboard box feel like home, because my wife calls me a nester. So the only real thing I wanted to do is I wanted to be in a place that clients automatically feel safe. Like, they don't even have to get out of their cars and they already feel safe and an exciting experience when they walk up. And this place is very charming from the outside.
It is.
And I feel like the minute you walk in, you're like, oh, this is homey. I already feel comfortable.
Yes.
And that was the most important thing to me.
Do you own this place or do you lease it?
I lease it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you had to do special to lease this place as far as work? Does the owner know what you do? Or
Oh, yeah. That was one thing I was really nervous about.
Yeah.
But the owner's like, I don't care. He's a really laid back old German man. And
Oh, that's interesting.
it is.
Yeah.
And, he thinks what I do is hilarious.
Yeah.
But he's cool, and I'm quiet. I pay my rent.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people around us are in a very rich neighborhood. In Bellair Bluffs, it's very fancy. Hulk Hogan used to live here.
Right.
All the famous people in Florida live here. So I've definitely gotten some strange looks because, I'm a very tattooed woman. And that was something to get used to. But everyone in the plaza has been really warming, and my landlord's been warming, and everything's just been great. I couldn't ask for a better place.
Yeah. I love this place is perfect. Seriously perfect. But I imagine it's weird having that conversation with your landlord saying, this is what I do. And hopefully most of the time people are receptive to it. With the other place that you looked at, was there a reason this place over that one?
This sounds really hippie. I'm a vibe person. And when I walk into a place, it's all about the feeling it gives me. And especially since I'm going to be bringing people in the most sensitive way that you can imagine. If it doesn't give me a warm, fuzzy vibe, then I'm not even going to consider it.
Once you decided that this is what you were going to do, how did you go about booking your first clients? So you were reaching out to studios, and then did that bring you clients in?
I actually started way before then. I did just reaching out to different places, reaching out to brides, reaching out to models, and then I did Living Social and Groupon, all of those things that are so hard to accept as a business owner that you have to do, but it's kind of like a necessary evil.
Yep.
But that's how I got a lot of clients and got my start. I was actually in South Carolina for a little while.
Okay.
And I shot a lot of women there, and then I decided to come back home to Florida.
Okay. And then you were reaching out and starting to book people?
Yes, and like I said, I have no problem just constantly reaching out until someone takes me.
Yeah.
I grew on people.
Yeah, no, I think that's very smart. What are some ways that you market your business today?
My biggest, I shoot pole a lot, and a lot of the girls come to me for boudoir later on or their weddings or whatever. And a big part of what it is honestly just word of mouth. Like I said, I build these relationships with my clients. Right. I have clients who just text me and say, I've had a bad day, let's talk. And I'm there. And that has created a community. So it's really nice because I do advertising, but I don't have to advertise a lot like I used to because my clients do it for me, which is the best compliment I could ever ask for.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like the smartest way to market your business is have your clients do it for you.
It is. And it means a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you use social media at all?
I use social media a lot. It's something that's kind of hard to do for me because I feel like I'm not naturally a bragging person and I'm naturally super silly, and all I want to do is like make fart jokes. I have to be grown up and try to bring myself to a grown up situation. But I've also learned that my clients connect with me because I'm goofy.
Yeah.
And social media is definitely something that I still struggle with.
Yeah.
But it's once again something you've got to do.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil. Do you find that you focus on one platform more than the other, or that one works better for you as a business?
I use Facebook a lot. I have a Facebook group, and that is where I'm the most open about. I'm really open about my life and how I'm feeling. I'm a plus size woman, and I'm very open about it. I'm open about the struggle of being plus size. I'm open about the struggle of being gay. I'm very open about myself the most there. I also use just Facebook normally, and I use Instagram to really show off my work. But I'm the most personal, I think, with my Facebook group that is specifically for clients only.
With the Facebook group, when did you decide to open that, and why did you decide to open a Facebook group?
I have a lot of clients. It's probably been about 3 years, and I have a lot of clients who are really they want to show off their images, but they're not comfortable showing everyone. So I really wanted to give women a space where they could say whatever they wanted and no one cared. And a supportive place where you can say, I don't want to show everyone these, but I want to show them my photos to you. And then it's just a bunch of cheerleaders telling everyone how hot they are. And it's just this awesome, loving, girls only experience. And it's great.
I love being a part of your group. What is it called?
It's Candra's Booty Babes.
Yes. I love that. I had to just have you say it out loud. The Facebook group, do you ever offer promotions to them just that are specifically for them?
I do, a lot, actually. Pretty much if you're in my Facebook group, you get first dibs at everything. Okay. We let you know what's going on before anyone else because loyalty, customer loyalty, means a lot to me. So I always try to let the girls in my inner circle know everything first.
Yeah. I think that's really smart. And I see a lot of businesses moving towards using Facebook groups or just groups in general to kind of sustain your business.
And our group is not exclusive. Everyone's allowed.
I love it.
All girls are allowed, and it's no cliquey. And the only rule is that you have to be nice, and there's no negative self-talk allowed in the studio or online in the group. Everything has to be positive.
I love that. And I think that goes right along with your mission. I mean, it's really, really, really perfect. I also, over the years, have seen you at shows, shooting at showcases, different competitions, different charity shows. How did you get into that?
Actually, the most I shoot is charity shows. And I got started with that because Pull for a Purpose is a show that donates money to domestic violence shelters, which is very, very close to my heart. And I've done a lot of other charity work with. So the minute I found out a way that I could use photography to promote and to help in any way that I could, I was there.
Yeah.
And then I also have worked with other charity events. And that's pretty much what I do. I work some of the events, but mostly I'm just there to donate my time.
Okay.
Because I really, if I believe in the cause, I want to do whatever I can to help.
So with Pull for a Purpose, did you just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a photographer? How did that relationship develop?
Sarah's awesome, and we've worked together in the past, and I asked her if she needed somebody, and she said yes, and I told her I'd be more than happy to help. And there's another team of photography. We make sure everything's covered, and then the Pull for a Purpose gets to use the photos for promotions, and it helps dancers. And it helps them keep dancers coming back so they can keep doing this awesome show for charity. Yeah.
Have you seen any clients come from that? I know that's not why you're doing it, but I imagine that helps get your face out there and your name.
I think, well, it's funny. Pull for a Purpose, you probably don't even see me.
No, I know. Yeah, you're hiding
I'm always
somewhere.
hiding.
Flashes. That's
all you
great.
see. Yeah. I probably have gotten some clients from Pull for a Purpose, but mostly it just reinforced the relationships I have with the local studio owners. It's letting the people in the aerial community that I'm a part of know that I support them. And that's why I do it.
Yeah.
So clients come from it, but I don't really think that's why I do it.
Right. That makes sense. So you're still doing these shows. Like Pull for a Purpose is a month and a half away.
Oh, geez, I guess so.
But I always look forward to seeing the pictures from there. And I imagine as being in a show, you like love picking out your pictures and seeing these gorgeous shots. I'm always surprised that, somebody can capture that movement or that moment. It's really awesome that you guys just donate your time to that.
Well, and I've been a pole dancer on and off for about 4 or 5 years now. I will say on and off because I'm not. It's very hard for me to stick to a regimen, but I love it. And it's something that I think because I've done it and I've taken enough classes, I can tell when a move is coming. And I think that's helped me out a lot between working with individual shoots. And then also I feel like I've heard this is that my showcase photos tend to help because I tend to know when I catch someone at their best move, which is something I'm really proud of because it's really hard doing a showcase.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
Right. I wanted to actually ask you about that. So what are some things that you look for in a good shot, especially when it comes to movement? When
it comes to movement, I think because I've been doing it so long, I know when a move is coming. And I think I know And I also, because I'm a woman, I definitely know what stuff I do not want photographed. I know that certain moves I would never want anybody to photograph because they look awesome in person, but still they do not look that great.
Right. I have a list that proves it.
So I think that's part of it. And I also try to get the vibe of the event.
How do you do that?
I don't particularly actually work with flash at most events. I try to capture the light as it's happening and capture the moment on the stage, which is actually part of my theme shoots, which we talked about a little, is I try to make it, everybody pole dances because they want to feel like they're on a stage. And that they're, whether or not they actually want to be, but in their brains, they want everyone to be looking at them and they want to be the center of attention, even if it's not real. And I always wanted to capture that vibe for someone because it takes a lot of guts to go on stage.
It does.
It's hard. And I want girls to have photos at the end of the day and they're like, look at this badass. Look what I did. I didn't think I could, but I did.
Right. That's the best feeling. Speaking of your lighting, you are the queen of lighting. Is that something that you've always been interested in?
So I went to college at International Academy of Art Design and Technology. That's a lot of words. And I've taken different lighting classes on everything, but I've always been into the very 1940s dark pinup look, and I've always been also light and airy. So it was really cool to find a way to show both sides of my personality. And I really get to bring out this really dark, artistic body silhouette vibe with my pole work. And it's just been amazing to express myself in a totally different way.
I really admire the way that you use lighting. It creates lines where you might not have seen them before. I was just looking through your gorgeous Instagram feed.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, and the lines are so beautiful and you highlight them so well. How long have you been working with lighting?
I've been working with lighting for over 10 years. I've been working with it for a long time. And that's one of the things people tell me. They love my lighting. And I've had people who are aspiring photographers ask me about it. I am good at it because I've been doing it a really long time. And I've also learned from some of the best. I've worked with people who've worked for Dolce & Gabbana, Vogue, Playboy. So I was lucky in my education to learn tons of different things. I worked with one of the most famous pinup photographers in this century, and it was amazing. And I got to learn how to use old vintage lighting, which is something you'll see a lot in my work. And when it came to pole, I wanted to showcase the strength. I want to show off the muscles because we work really hard on those. And I also wanted to be able to hide the flaws because when you pole dance, you wear not a lot of clothing.
Right.
And you feel sexy when you're at the studio. And I wanted girls to look at their photos and feel sexy no matter what. And it really show off the things they love in a different light. And maybe even show off some things they didn't know they loved.
Yeah.
And I think the dark lighting, it does that.
When did you start doing, so we're talking about the dark lighting, you do a dark and sexy theme. When did you start doing that and how did that all come about?
I started doing that about 2-3 years ago. It was just the lighting I had in my idea. I might murder her name, Kelly Magdilia. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Over in LA?
Yes. So she did this awesome photo, and it was in a pole magazine, and I actually saw it at Platinum Twirl. She had this magazine on her desk, and it was dark, dramatic lighting, and this girl had awesome smoke behind her, and I was like, that is what I want. That is the look I want. And ever since then, I just kept playing with it and trying to find my own spin, and then Dark and Sexy happened, and actually my friend Marina named it. And ever since then, it's been my favorite. And I really love how people have really taken to it.
Yeah, it took off really fast. And you've been able to tour doing that photo shoot. So what does that look like? What does a tour look like for you?
Bananas. And I'm actually working on a tour right now with Gemma Lux.
Okay.
It's basically an excuse to travel with my best friend. So it just, a lot of times it's people taking me in their homes and then, studios reaching out to me, and I come and I set all my stuff up and I become best friends with about 10 to 12 girls in every studio, and it's been awesome. I mean, all the studio owners are super kind and supportive, and I think they enjoy it as much as I do. And it ends up just being a huge girl party.
Yeah.
And it's just it's tons of fun, and everybody's behind you cheerleading and yelling how hot you are. So even if you're insecure, you will not be by the time you leave.
Right.
And it's just such a fun environment.
When did you start touring? When did you start like going to studios outside of Florida?
It has been pretty recent. It's probably been in the last year. It came as a surprise. I had people I never even knew heard of me reach out to me. And when that happened, it was really exciting because it was like...
What an affirmation.
I know. And then people, you know, they send me screenshots and are like, I want this lighting. When can you come? And it made me feel... I think that was one of the moments where I felt really successful in my whole photography. And I felt like I had finally started to make it. The minute people started to call that I never even heard of and I never would have thought heard of me.
So talking about creating a safe environment, is there anything that you do to intentionally set that up?
I do a lot. One of the things I do is I make the environment very silly from first. The minute you walk in the door, I'm like, yes, bitch, you know, and invoking all the Beyonce vibes.
Yes.
And I'm constantly just trying to make the girl understand that I'm here to be your best friend. And I'm here to make you feel comfortable. We're about to have it's going to be like a sleepover where we play dress up. That's all it is, but grown up.
Yeah.
And I put her in makeup, let her feel something about being in makeup automatically just relaxes you.
Yeah.
And the minute you get in the room, you walk in the door and we start telling you how gorgeous you are. Yeah. And it's it's my favorite things. And I also, everything about the environment has to be friendly towards women. I mean, I don't have signs on the door because I don't want people to know what you're doing. So from the minute you get here, it's like your secret little hideaway. I think it's just something we've worked on over the years. And I mean, every makeup artist, every person in the team has to be a very positive, body positive, female empowerment. Every person and every single person we work with is female.
Yeah. So how did you find the people to work with you? So real quick, my husband is the editor for the show, so he gets to listen and he'll help me do the research. And we were looking over your website and we noticed he was saying, oh, there's photography tips or tips for your first photo shoot on our website. And then he's scrolling down and he sees... You mentioned bringing in pictures of your dog. Yeah, bringing in pictures of your dog, but not because you need them, because you want to see them, and creating that silliness from the get-go. How did you think to do something like that?
I think it's just part of my personality. If you actually look at the bottom of the prices, it actually says BFF time included. Because I'm just very silly, and I feel like I cuss a lot. And it sounds really funny, but when the minute you walk in the room and I'm like, you're fucking hot.
Yes.
I feel like it just disarms people because this is not a serious place. This is not a suit and tie place. You will never see me in stilettos and a bun. I'm always just going to be here silly, and it's going to be a party.
Yeah.
Champagne also helps.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I'm sure. So you get to help women feel beautiful. And I know for me, being so uncomfortable with my sexuality and owning my body, when I got the pictures from the photo shoot, just feeling that overwhelming sense of like, I'm not so bad, you know? And you get to do that all the time. What about helping women feel beautiful feeds you?
Okay, so I have 5 sisters.
Oh, okay.
So that helped.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I'm one of 5 sisters, but growing up and just, you know, I'm the middle, and just seeing all my sisters struggle with anything from self-esteem to stupid boys and anything else, gender identity, all of that has really kind of grown into who I am. And I've always been a chubby girl. And it took me a long time to learn to love myself. And I think the reason why I got there is because of what I do. It's like healing myself by healing other women.
Yeah.
And the minute I started to do this, I was like, I want to produce a hard piece of self-esteem that when a girl has a shitty day or boyfriend's being an asshole or just things aren't going your way, you can pull it out and be like, I still got it. I am hot as hell. And I've also had really cool things happen. Like I had one client who was a grandmother, and she's like, when I grow up or when my grandkids grow up and I want them to see these photos when they're going through my stuff and be like, Grandma was a real person and she was awesome and she flaunted it. And that really helped me too, is to my clients. I just love them so much.
Is there any tips that you would give to somebody that wants to start shooting boudoir or pole or aerial?
I would say the most important thing when it comes to my job is making people feel comfortable. I've known a lot of boudoir photographers. I've known some who still do it, some who gave up. I know a lot of male photographers who had a lot of issues. But the first thing you have to do is you have to create a zone of comfort and safety. And you also have to make the client feel like you are always on their side. And however they feel is the most important part. I feel like being a photographer is second to making your clients feel good.
And I think that's what makes a good photographer. You can go into a shoot and it can be really uncomfortable and it can remain really uncomfortable. Or you can go into a shoot and have it exceed your expectations and have a great time. And I think that's what makes a good photographer.
I care about the experience as much as I care about the photos that come out of it because...
And that shows. That really shows. And I really admire that that's where your priority is. It's being in such a vulnerable position to have somebody that's just there to make you feel comfortable.
Well, and I always joke that in the beginning, all the clients are always very conservative. And I'm like, by the end, you're just going to be running around naked. Yeah. 9 times out of 10 it happens.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because we become best friends so quickly. Because it's such an intimate situation that I love that I see sides of women that their best friends and their spouses might not even see.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. And I am so invested in making women feel good. That is my calling in life. Yeah. So any way that I can make that happen, I'm usually down for.
What a great industry to be in.
Yes.
I mean, this is just so perfect.
And meeting all the women who are in this industry, in the aerial industry, and that's all their goal is is to create a safe haven for women to feel gorgeous. And the minute I started shooting pole and aerial, I learned that I was like, oh my God, these are my people.
Yeah.
Because you walk into... Immediately. The minute you walk in, you just walk into a hug, it feels like. And that's how it should be.
So you talked about working with a couple of people now with you. How did you find people to work with? Who's working for you now and how did you find them?
I have my assistant, Maddie, who has been working for me for almost a year. And she's my editor. She also does stuff like inventory and other things that need to be done around the studio. I found her on a local photography group. She owns her own photography business, and she just fit our team. She came in. She's super silly and goofy, and she's super funny. She's a different kind of funny than me because she's sassy. And I feel like it brings something different to the team because I feel like I'm all bubbles sometimes. And then my other current team member is Gemma Lux, who's a famous pole dancer, even though she'll kill me for calling her that.
I love that.
She's totally uncomfortable, but I tell her all the time. Yeah. She's my makeup artist, and I found her through pole dancing. She modeled for me once or twice, and then I instantly fell in love with her vibe. If Gemma Lux is anywhere near you, she will make you feel like $100. And I love to tell her that because it makes her so uncomfortable, but it's true. She just makes women feel beautiful because she has my vibe where the minute you're in front of her, all she wants to do is make you feel confident and beautiful. And that's the most important part of being on my team.
When choosing a makeup artist, is that something that you looked for? Somebody that was already in the industry?
Definitely.
That's really smart because I think as an instructor, your goal is to lift other women up. So that would fit in perfectly with this.
I wasn't even looking for someone in the industry when it happened. And then it did. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. And I can't even ask for a better makeup artist because she just makes everyone feel amazing. And every makeup artist I've ever had has been great at that. Because if you can't make women feel comfortable as a makeup artist, you're probably not in the right field. Everyone I've ever had is awesome, and I found them in different ways. And, once again, it's going to sound really hippie, but I feel like the right people come to you at the right time. Gemma Lux showed up, and the minute she showed up, I was like, you have to be on my team. I don't even know where I'm going to put you or what we're going to do yet. Then she turned out to be a makeup artist, and it worked out awesome.
That relationship, I would imagine, is perfect. She's like the perfect person to get people warmed up.
She is, and she's the perfect person to make people feel comfortable. And I think we actually connected because we just talked about our dreams one day, and we realized that we had the same goal, and our goal is just to make women feel beautiful, and that's what we want to leave behind, and that's what we want people to say about us. So
I'll say it right now. You do it. So true, though. So now let's talk about your theme shoots. How did you start a theme shoot? Were you just like, I have to do this? This looks awesome.
Are you talking about in boudoir and aerial?
In both. I mean, you do a lot of theme shoots.
When we've got a lot more coming. I think theme shoots are something, it's really weird because sometimes I do things I don't think anyone will ever like. And so I just shoot it and then everyone loves it. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it then.
Do these ideas just come from you, or are you inspired by anything in particular? Or?
Some stuff comes from me. Some stuff is actually a client will come to me and they're like, I have this cool idea. And I'm like, let's do it. Natalia Nightshade is a client of mine and she had a bloodbath idea. And I was like,
hell yes.
No one else is ever going to want to do this. And then we're actually having a mini session for it because after I shot it, my inbox was blowing up. Everybody's like, let's please do this.
Gosh.
Please do this. So we're going to do one a little later this year.
Awesome.
And then as far as pole goes, I'm obsessed with lighting, if you couldn't tell.
Right.
I just have slowly found things that I really wanted to do. And our newest is Neon Noir, which has latex involved in it. We either do latex or body paint or glitter, and we kind of wanted to show your alter ego, I would say.
Yeah.
And that was inspired by Boo Boo Brian. He showed up after his win at Dance Filthy, and he was wearing a crown and latex, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I need to do it forever. And I love him so much for that because he inspired me a lot. And I think probably a lot of my themes come from inspiration from clients, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. When you decide to do a theme, do you just put it out there and...
Yeah. Actually, a lot of my themes have turned into, sometimes it's just one client wants something, and then I show people and everybody wants it, and it's awesome to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just comes from my brain.
That's awesome. I love it. I've loved watching your themes, like, evolve.
Thank you.
You know, I remember that picture with Marina. That's my favorite of her in, like, that suit.
Oh, yeah. Her crazy cat suit.
Yeah. That shot is just so dope. And then seeing what it's become now and the lines that you're able to create with the lighting and capture, it's really cool.
Well, and she actually inspired Dark and Sexy with her creepiness. And I guess that's kind of where I get my ideas is I'll get a client and then I find something that about them and I stick to it. Like Marina, I was like, you're sexy, but you're creepy. And I really feel like, you know, just a basic background won't work for you. I need something that really says who you are. And that started Dark and Sexy. And then Neon Noir is because I shot Brian, Boo Boo Brian, and Squeak Machine. And I was like, okay, we have to go somewhere darker with this.
Yeah.
Because you're just too sexy. And they actually inspired me to do Neon Noir. And that actually, Gemma Luck started getting involved in that. And then it's become our baby.
Yeah.
So she definitely deserves a lot of credit on that.
Yeah.
She came up with the
sweet.
body paint and the glitter, and it's come out pretty awesome.
That's so cool. What has been your most favorite theme shoot?
Oh, man.
Not necessarily like your favorite person that you've shot, but just your overall favorite theme.
My favorite theme, I love them all. That's why I do them. I think it's always whatever I'm doing in the moment. Like right now, Neon Noir I'm really obsessed with, and then something else will come up that I fall in love with. And I think it comes down to it. I'm an artistic person, and it's whatever I'm into at the moment. And I really love my milk baths I did for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But now I'm like, I'm over them. Let's do something else.
It's so cool, though. And you've done a lot. I had totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, I got real popular for a while.
Super sick. Yeah.
I saw, I can't even take credit for them. I saw them online and I was like, I have to learn how to do this. It's so weird.
So when you decide to do these theme shoots, does it take you a couple of tries before you figure out exactly what you want to do, or do you just let it happen?
I usually do a couple tries. So a lot of my theme shoots comes from one client wanting to try it. And then, like I said, it blossoms into a theme. So a lot of times I'll bring in Gemma or, you know, a client who's come to me a lot. And I'm like, hey, I got an idea. It's going to get real weird. Are you down? And then we try it, and we definitely try to perfect it before we bring people in.
Okay. That's smart.
Because I don't want... Part of making girls feel comfortable is me knowing what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard to make girls feel comfortable if I don't know what's going on.
Right.
So it's definitely... I make sure it's a fine-tuned machine before we start bringing them in.
That's smart. So a lot of what you personally post on social media is very positive and uplifting. Are you doing that intentionally, or why are you spreading so much positivity?
I think that, especially, so I'm a hardcore feminist, and I think that women have, and I say women, but I mean pretty much everyone, but especially females and women, we have a hard time. You know, we have enough people telling us that we're not thin enough, not smart enough, not blonde enough, not something enough. And I think part of the reason why I post so many positive things is because of what I'm saying to myself every day. Because I'm trying to reverse in myself all the things that media says I should be. And I'm just telling other people the same thing. Like, you don't have to be anything. Just show up. Whatever you are is good enough. And I think a lot of times I'm really positive because I say things that I wish someone had said to me at my darkest points.
Right.
And I think that that's why I post. Also, there's way too much negative stuff.
There is. I always appreciate scrolling across one of your posts. It breaks up the day, you know?
Thank you.
It really does. And again, I think this industry, this community is so uplifting. And if only everybody else could benefit from this. And I know, you know, I'll post on my Instagram, you know, hoping that somebody will see it and join in, because this community changed my life.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I need everyone to know she just adjusted her hair and her muscles are humongous.
It's only because I'm teaching on a weekly basis. Otherwise, they disappear. Thank you. So on your website, you mention your animals quite often, as well as they are sitting with you right now.
Yes.
Bear and Oliver. Tell us about your animals.
My animals are a whole life. So I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. My cats don't come to the studio because they're crazy. And then I have 2 Shih Tzus. They're both rescues. Bear is the love of my life. I've had him since he was 9 months old, and he's 9 now. And he's sitting right next to me, and he has puppy Frito feet. And that's what I smell right now. They're the best. I think that sometimes dogs get you through the hardest days in your life. When my studio was in my house, I was really nervous that clients would not like it. All the clients fell in love with them.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the things that also makes people feel so comfortable.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think that adds to the environment that you create. And like we were talking before while I was getting everything set up, and I started getting emotional, and Bear immediately came over to me. It's so sweet. Again, I think that really adds to the environment that you've created.
Thank you. Yeah. I really, really try, and they're the best. I feel like that's why if you want your dogs, please show me pictures of your dogs. And if I'm not posting something uplifting on the internet, it's probably a video of dogs.
Very true. Very, very true. I've seen it. And you have started Glitter Bitch. So
Yes.
What is Glitter Bitch?
I feel like Glitter Bitch is a place for me to put all my silliness. It is a clothing company. I've always wanted to start something that was, because I always felt like I couldn't find anything I liked, which is basically the girls section of Target, but for grown-ups.
Right.
So what I started is just a company, and we're actually building on being an only female-owned company. So we are only going to be ordering products from other small female-owned businesses.
I love that.
So we work with a lot of like Cleve the Hurricane, Twisted Polarina. We have just amazing brands, and we only are working with things we believe in and people we believe in, because I feel like there's so much stuff you can buy from China that's, you know, a size XL will fit a dog.
Right.
But I really wanted to create something else that makes women feel great, because no one wants to get stuff in the mail and it not fit right or not make you feel good. And I really want to support brands who care about making people feel good. And the brands that I work with, I've heard the owners talk about how they want everyone to feel sexy in what they wear. And that's what's important to me.
Yeah. How long have you been operating Glitter Bitch for?
Glitter Bitch has been about a year. It's still growing, and pretty much everything we sell is lacy or glittery.
Yes.
And it's a place where I can just let out all my silliness, whether it be through clothing or posts, or it's a lot of fun. Or the name.
Yeah, I just want to keep saying Glitter Bitch.
Yes, I was trying to think of a name, and I was just like, Glitter Bitch. It's just the best, because, I mean...
It is.
Glitter bitches are the best bitches.
Mm-hmm. I will attest to that. You're so amazing.
You're so amazing.
You're really, what you're doing is really incredible, and I really admire the fact that you have chosen to run your business in a way that lifts up women.
That is the whole point. I feel like photography is what I do, but making women feel beautiful is my calling.
Yeah.
And any way that I can do that is what matters. And there's days where, I mean, just like any other job, I can get tired and burn out, and then I'll get an email from a girl who says, you know, I never thought I was beautiful until I saw this, or, you know, I've never felt so beautiful in my life, or I was going through something in my life, and, you know, it's been 6 months and I saw my photos again, and it just reminded me that, you know, I am something. And then it makes me remember why I do what I do.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. And it shows. It really shows.
Thank you.
What is the favorite image, your most favorite image that you've ever shot?
My favorite?
I know there's so many.
There's so many.
Like one that just sticks out in your head.
I will say, when it comes to boudoir, I don't think I could. I feel like there's one favorite. Actually, my favorite image of boudoir, and it's on my business cards, and you'll see it all over the internet. It's a photo of a girl holding a camera, and it's in black and white.
Ooh.
And it's just her torso, and I love it because it's very mysterious. And that client actually turned out to mean a lot to me. And then I have my favorite pole photo is Boo Boo Brian. And the very beginning of Neon Noir and his crown. And it was also the silliest day I've ever had. Because him and Squeak Machine, for the sexiest people I've ever met, they're also the silliest people I've ever met. And it was it was fun. And I think it's probably one of my most proud photos I've ever taken.
Yeah, that shot is amazing. I will post links to both of these, but
yes,
they are incredible. Boo Boo Brian and the crown from Dance Filthy, and the lighting is just out of this world.
It's really funny because I don't promote. A lot of times I photograph men because I try to make it a safe place for women.
Right.
But when you bring a man like Boo Boo Brian in, I get to make magic that I don't get to make a lot.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it.
He's incredible. Favorite image by someone else?
Actually, my favorite image is by an Italian photographer called Gabrielle Rijon. And there's an image of a woman standing in a clear tub, and it's black and white. She's naked and she's just looking out, and the tub is filled with water, and something about like the look in her eye and the water and everything. It's my everything.
I will definitely have to get that from you so I can see it.
He does a lot of film fine art nudes, and he was my inspiration when I started.
Wow. I love that. And how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram as Candra Cain Photos, or my pole account, which is Candra_shoots pole. And then I also have my website, which is Candra Cain Photography. And I'm sure there will be links to that.
Yes, all in the show notes.
Yes, and just email me, say hi. I love talking to my ladies, and even if we're not best friends, we are now. And I love it. Please stop by and say hi.
Yes. Well, again, I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on this show. You were one of the very first people I asked, and you immediately responded with yes. And I feel so lucky to be in this area. We're really blessed, I feel like, with the aerial community and St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay, Florida.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
together. So I've been able to kind of watch your journey as I've grown, been able to see how much you've grown, and like, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but like walking into this space and seeing what you've built and looking through your business page and seeing all the reviews and everything. It's really amazing what you've done and what you've built. So thank you so much for being a guest on this show.
Thank you.
And with that,
there's one other thing I wanted to say. I wanted to say to people who are struggling and they want to do something and they want to help their community, or they want to help anything. If you let your heart guide you, you'll be there. If you jump, the net will appear. And I know all this sounds really cheesy, but I went from girl who was Section 8. I've stayed in homeless shelters. I didn't have a lot going for me when I was very young. And I've built everything from the ground up. And it is doable and it is possible. And if you do what you do out of love, then the universe will meet you halfway.
Okay, I'm crying.
Well, that's what you're doing, though. You're doing something out of love. And if you do something out of love, it will succeed. Even if you have to bust your ass for a while.
Yeah, for real. But what a great way to end this show. Thank you so, so, so much. And we'll see you guys next time.
Yes. Thanks. She's the best.
Thank you for listening to that episode of the Aerial Hour with Candra Cain. You guys already know what to do. Head over to theaerialhour.com to check out the show notes. Like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see where we're heading next. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Someone's like, hell yeah!
Yeah.
Your ass looks amazing! Work it!